But for more on the election, let's turn to Mary C. Curtis from Charlotte, North Carolina. She's a columnist for the political newspaper Roll Call and host of the Equal Time podcast. Mary, welcome to our program. Biden inching closer to that critical 270 number in terms of electoral votes. How is this going to play out? This is not a done deal.
It's not a done deal, but you'd rather be Joe Biden than Donald Trump right now. You see that Donald Trump at this point just has these lawsuits going, but it's very mixed message. He wants the votes to be stopped, counting of the votes where he is ahead, but in places like Arizona, he wants them to continue. And it's important for people to realize we say election day, but it's always been election days or weeks because it takes a while before the votes to be counted and certified. And in states like Pennsylvania, they could not start even processing the votes that were absentee or mail-in until Election Day, which is quite different from a state like North Carolina, where they were allowed to start processing it. It's like you have 50 different election centers. And so that's why it's really confusing. But all of these votes are legal votes. So at this point, they just have to be counted and people have to be patient. But in a divided America, patience is in short supply.
That is true, Mary. President Trump tweeting earlier this morning, all caps, stop the count. How dangerous is this? And why are we not hearing from Republican leaders that this is actually how democracy works? You count the votes.
Yes, you've heard from some folks like Chris Christie and others that this is dangerous. And you've even had some of the social media sites flagging them as being false. But it would be great if you could hear more Republican voices more in a louder tone saying this is how democracy works. Although you do see folks like Mitch McConnell, who won his reelection race in Kentucky, and so far with the trends, it looks like he will still be the majority leader in the Senate. He is saying also to discount these votes. And you see Joe Biden already acting presidential, being very calm and not claiming victory, but looking ahead, having these meetings on COVID. And so you see that.
Mary, the fact that the vote is so close in the state of Georgia with Biden and Trump very, very separated by maybe, I don't know, the last time I checked, I think it was 14,000 votes.
Yes, and you really have to give credit to folks like Stacey Abrams. We saw lost that very close gubernatorial race, but really put a lot of energy into getting voters registered and getting the turnout, particularly among African-American voters in cities like Atlanta and in those suburbs. And that is seeming to make the difference. But it also points to what we're seeing all over America, a divide between urban areas and the more rural areas where Trump really did continue to run strong.
The reality is half the country, nearly half the country, or nearly half the people who voted for President Donald Trump, and the other half voted for Joe Biden. And I'm just estimating here.
Yes.
How do you unite this very divided country once all of this is done and over with?
Well, that's what Joe Biden ran on. He said that he could be a uniter, and he's worked across the aisle. But he has his work cut out for him because particularly with these tweets, there will be many people who feel that the vote is not legitimate. And so on January 20th, when that person takes the oath of office, will the other half accept that person as the president? And with divided government, will Biden be able to get the cooperation to get things done? Now, that is what he has said he will do, but it is a tall order.
It is a tall order indeed. Well, we'll leave it there. Mary C. Curtis, thank you.